Across the globe, the Western world marks the 1000th year of the Christian era, but the West is still engulfed in disarray and bloodshed. It will be hundreds more years until those dark ages end. With the West in chaos, it is here in China that the world's most civilized people live. Our new ruler, Taizong's third son, Zhenzong, makes sure that elegance, leisure, and learning are all cherished and nurtured. Our cities grow quickly, as does our wealth. Only the Khitan horsemen from the north threaten our idyllic existence. And yes, 7 years into Zhenzong's reign, our capital of Kaifeng is in fact overrun. The court flees first south to the Yangtze, then upriver to Chengdu. Chengdu, capital of the isolated Sichuan province, is where you now find yourself, my loyal counselor. Emperor Zhenzong himself is ready to lead the troops to retake Pingyao and Kaifeng. He has made it your job to supply him with an army strong enough to defeat the Khitan. Build your strength quickly, for they will find our temporary capital in this isolated region before long. This region has great wealth: rice, salt, tea, iron, lacquer, silk, and the great panda bear all make Sichuan their home. The only thing we lack is copper to mint new strings of cash. But the great Song dynasty will not let a copper shortage stop our economy from blossoming like a lotus flower. Therefore, we have decided to print money directly on paper using colored inks. It's a novel idea, one never before tried in this world, but we think it might just have some staying power. So remember, build your strength. The Khitan will soon be here. Remember that they covet our wealth. We should consider bribing them with cash or even submitting to them for a time and paying tribute. Yes, this plan is humiliating, but it will give us time by satisfying their greed. Confucius teaches us to beware of greed, but these barbarians from the north have no such great scholar from which to learn.
G'day mates, and welcome back to Emperor. Looks like we are into the paper printing era, or the money printing era. We're now printing money on paper, which is pretty interesting. So, looks like they want us to bribe the guys who attack us, either fight them or bribe them. So we're going to print up some coloured pictures, some pretty pictures on the paper, and give it to the guys so they stop attacking us. It's a novel idea for sure. Let's head into the city and see what we are faced with. So we're paused and... okay, I've got a little bit of salt up here. We've got... actually nothing up here. It's nice and green though, so good fertile land. We appear to be down in the south, based on the bamboo everywhere. These little streams are sort of in the way. Can I get a bridge across them? I think I can. Yeah, so I can get a little bridge across them, there's no problem there. But they are sort of in the middle of where I'd like to place some housing blocks, so it's a bit of a problem. I suppose I could actually build housing blocks over there. That would look quite beautiful, I think. I could probably incorporate, housing blocks straight over here and have the little river going through the centre of it. That might be interesting to try, and we'll see how that goes. The other alternative, of course, is to put them all down here. There's heaps of space down the bottom here. Some old ruins, nice bridge, and a shit ton of timber, which I believe we can cut. Let's have a look what we've got here. We have wow, okay. We've got a lot of food sources here. Rice definitely is a highly productive one, and I think wheat is probably the second most productive. Probably soybean as well, actually. Wheat, rice, and soybean, I think is what we're going to be focusing on early, and then I can add additional ones on later. I may even jump straight to 4 types, because it should be fairly easy to place that around a single farm, but we'll see how we go anyway. Lacquer and silk and tea. Wow, this is a hugely productive area. We have clay, we've got timber, we can harvest loads of that. We've got steel. Hang on, I mean there's iron somewhere. I have missed the iron. Where, oh where is the iron hiding? I cannot see the iron. I think that's it there. Yeah, iron ore deposits hiding behind these trees here. And there's a little bit down there. So we can have a nice steel smeltery over here and cut down all this bamboo and turn the bamboo into charcoal. So that will be great. So we've got steel as well, so kiln lacquerware makers, we've got weavers, paper, jade carvers studios, and of course salt up the top right. This is going to be a phenomenal city. What are our requirements? Population of 3,000 is fairly easy. I'll get that in 2 housing blocks. Rule 2 cities, we'll need a military, which means we'll need a noble housing block as well, and a whole bunch of tea and salt. So we have to do the salt. I mean, we've got enough food sources to not bother with it, but we do need to bring in the salt. And there's not a huge amount of land for salt here, but my understanding is that salt is, yeah, it produces quite a bit per thing. Let's have a quick look in where we are on the world map. So we're trading already with Guangzhou. They will buy silk, brilliant, and salt and carved jade. So I need to find someone who will sell that to me. The Jia Empire. I think I know about them, but we'll deal with them later. So I can get some steel from them if I need to get weapons quicker, if I can't produce my own. More food types I don't need. They will buy tea. So tea and silk, I think, is what we're going to focus on early. Probably a bit of salt as well. We may as well get these things done off in one go, because we can trade that stuff immediately. And for the others, I'm not sure. So I'm going to poke around here for a little bit longer, have a quick look at our gods. We've got 2 ancestors we need to tribute. You are a defensive military hero, if I remember correctly. You're an offensive one, and you are good because you make things move quicker. Yeah, it reduces the travel time. So Sun Tzu is probably the guy we're going to be using for conquering cities, and we do need to control 2 of them. Apparently Guangzhou doesn't count. They are simply a trade partner. So we can... Probably Kaifeng is one we're going to have to take, but we'll figure that out as we go along. Anyway guys, I'll cut back, or once I'm ready. I'm actually going to cut back briefly because I can actually see what Pingyao and Kaifeng require. I've never seen this before. I'm not trading with them. We've just started the game, but already I can actually see what they will produce. So, nothing particularly valuable there that I need, and they won't buy. They'll buy weapons, which is relatively valuable. I think it's 120 or so for weapons, and steel is about 90. So that's kind of useful. And you will buy silk. Ceramics are easy to produce, and tea, I should be pumping out heaps of tea. So it could be worthwhile targeting those 2 early. They are displeased, so I'm assuming that they're part of the Liao. Part of the... Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Okay, let's just edit this little bit out. Alrighty, as I was saying, before I started losing my voice, these appear to be part of the Liao Empire, so they are unlikely to trade with us. So, I think they're the 2 I'm going to have to conquer, so that maybe not very useful. So, at least I know what they will trade. So if I take one of them, I can figure out what's going on. Maybe I can bribe them back later. Anyway, back to the city building. Okay then, this has taken a little bit of planning, but we have ourselves a nicely set up city, and we've got this little stream running through the housing block. I could have set them up down here quite easily, but I thought it'd be a little bit more interesting to have a bit of variety and a bit of challenge. It's not going to be a hugely difficult mission, I don't think. These goals don't look spectacularly difficult, although I do expect there to be a bit of military pressure. So I have thrown down a noble's quarters immediately, and this is looking a little bit ugly at the moment. That really is just a guide so that I know roughly where the houses will fit, so I can fit anything along excuse me, anything along here that I would like to do, and I can basically place all my money-making farms and whatnot down here without any fear of taking up land that I've already planned to put away for nobles. So I have done that a few times in the past, so let's try and avoid that this time. Up here we've got ourselves 3 food types. I've gone for wheat, soybeans, and rice. Now that should be I think they're the most productive ones, although it's difficult to tell. I do believe the climate affects things, so I think millet is far more useful out in the arid climates, and rice, of course, productive in these southern sort of climates with bamboo. Either way, I think we're good. I've done a fair bit of land down here for hemp, because we're going to need it for the money printer. So we're going to use... that'll fit nicely there. That's good. So we can throw down a couple of paper makers and a money printer, and that should be nice. Hopefully it all works. We'll see how this goes anyway. Let's unpause time and get some people moving in. Okay, the trade requests have come back. Jiangling has opened up, and Liao Empire has rejected. Linan has opened up, and Jia has rejected. Let's have a quick look what we've got here. So they'll buy more carved jade. Again, we haven't got a source of jade, so that's a problem. They'll buy lacquerware, though. That's highly, highly valuable. I think that's probably what I'm going to go for early on. Yeah, silk also. Probably silk and lacquerware, I think. So I'm going to start with silk, and then I'll probably move into lacquerware quite quickly based on what you buy. Nothing particularly valuable here. Again, any excess weapons can be sold off. The Jia Empire will buy silk, and probably tea, so I'm going to be producing a fair bit of that. So it may be worthwhile trying to open with them. And the Liao Empire is going to be the enemy here, but perhaps I can bribe them with some silk or some tea if required. And of course, these two guys I knew about beforehand, and they are non-cooperative, so I didn't even try to open up with them. Either way, food is beginning to be produced. We've only got the one farm working here, and this one hemp farm. The others are all turned off. That'll allow me to get a sort of the basics stockpiled in. And I'm going to need a... someone's a trading key. Who are they? I see. So Linan, I trade via... Actually, is it both of them? I think it's both of them. That's a shame. So I'm going to have to do it all down here somewhere. I think it'll be... I'm assuming that it's come in here and leave from here as well. So that'll be the entry and exit point, because nowhere else is wide enough to fit a boat down. So that's actually not bad. That is not a bad idea. Oh, salt mine. Stuff that I need a... So we can throw one of those there and possibly another one here or something. And that'll allow me to do all my... my lacquer production will probably happen up here. And my silk production can happen sort of down here, I suppose. A little bit tight with this noble housing block, but I think I can do all the farming down here and then all the production here and then export that straight out. So that is pretty good, actually. Yeah, I'll figure out how that goes. Okay, that first year is done, and with a little bit of food stockpiling up here, it might be better off if I create a bit of a shortcut through here. Jia has become hostile, and Liao has become hostile. That's not good news. I suspect they're going to invade at some point. That's not good. So definitely focusing on the southern bits here. I'm thinking, as I was saying before, to put a little shortcut through here so that they drop food off a little bit quicker. I can put that there quite easily and block all this off, but the houses aren't going to be affected. And that'll allow me to just drop this food hopefully off quicker, because they're building up a bit of rice here that haven't yet dropped off. So I do need food into these people, but 1 year in, we've done 1 year's worth of gameplay, and I'm about to lose my voice again by the sounds of things. But we'll get that food shop down, and I think I'll wait to feed these guys. But we're going to need to get this cracking very shortly. So we've got the paper makers down here. They can probably absorb some of the early hemp, and that'll allow us to begin taxation immediately. So we've got these tax guys up here, and that'll be sort of the basis of our income. I need a hell of a lot more workers, though, before I can move up to... Thank you. Before I can start producing silk and or tea. Past lack of festivals keeps people away. In that case, we are going to need a music school. Okay, all the farms now are cranking up. We've got all the hemp farms down here on, and these regular food farms are now working beautifully. So... Hang on, did I throw down a herbalist? Yes, I did. No. That's the herbalist there. Either way, everything's going here. The food is probably going to start pouring in. I think this feeding here, this round, will be enough to level these guys up. And the hemp will be coming in, and we can level that block up. These guys are going to lag a little bit, but they probably actually, when the first feeding comes in, I think I'll throw that down as well. Simply because we're going to need the population quickly. And I'm thinking actually of moving into weapons first, simply because those guys went hostile on me immediately. And it's not a huge number of weapons exports possibilities, but I can send something up to Linan here. So I can produce the steel and the weapons up here. I'm going to have to move it down though if I want to export. So I might actually end up doing a small silk industry at the same time that I do the weapons as well, if assuming I get a good bump of population here, which we should do because we've got enough food and hemp coming in to really level these guys up. So with that, I'm going to throw a hemp shop down immediately. May as well throw one there as well, and we're going to have some explosive growth up very shortly. And with that, the plain food is in and being bought up, and the hemp has arrived. So our population's hit 1,000, and it's about to shoot through the roof once these people get everything distributed to them. So I've got the this block actually inside, not the market block, the market square inside this housing block. So it is taking up some of the space. These blocks aren't quite as large as I could hope for, but that should be sufficient. It's looking good. That's going to level up nicely. We need pottery or ceramics to go any further, and I'm not yet worried about that. Once I get a little bit of paper building up, once these guys are fully loaded up with paper, which should happen soonish, then I can throw down the money printer probably right here. I think is a nice location, or that might actually be better for a it might be better for another warehouse. I'm not sure. I'll have to tinker around. I've got a huge amount of space here. I do need to fit quite a lot of things in here. Yeah, let's just see how we go. Either way, population is pouring in. We've got 12% unemployment, and that's going to 13 now. And it's going to go even higher. Let's get our weapons all set up. Things are not looking good. We have a Jaja invasion coming in. We've only been in this game for 2 years by the looks of things. We've just started our second year. And already they are about to invade us. Excuse me. So I need to get my... Thank you. I need to get everything fired up as quickly as possible. We will not have enough money to bribe them most likely, so I'm going to need to get a fort down. And I suspect... Oh god, I hate this fort placement. There you go. One of them can go up here. So I can get the fort there. And I'm probably going to need to get a cavalry fort as well. I'll get you in... right there. Now what I can do is get those set up there, get the road blocked off, and this will allow me to get us all kicking over quite nicely. I need to get Sun Tzu in. Now he is I can never remember what their ancestors, what are these guys? They're Buddhist, I think, down there, which means you are a type of god, are you? I need to figure out which one to build, and that's going to mean I need either a Taoist temple or a Confucian academy. Now, Confucian I think is... Let's go back in here. I can think Confucian are these guys down here. Maybe. No. Okay, so these are Confucian guys up here. So we're not going to be able to get Sun Tzu in time. We can get Guandi though, who's a Taoist hero. Which means I need a Taoist temple somewhere. And I can throw this in. I'll probably knock out one house and put this in the corner here. Now you have our Taoist shrine there. You are currently not covered by anything Taoist. So yes you are, you're covered by the Taoist shrine there. So I can simply knock that out, move the house down there, and throw in a Taoist shrine. That's what I can do right now. And Guandi has arrived. It actually took him a little while to arrive, which is most unfortunate, and he's also very, very far away from where we need him to be. But if we can get him up here quickly before... We've got, how many more months left? We've got 2 months. We're not going to get there in time, unfortunately. So we're going to have a very small army. This is going to be tight, and I'm not sure how we can win this one. Let's see if we can bribe them off. If not, we're going to have to attempt to fight. Okay, the Jaja Empire is here, and they're attacking from the southwest, it looks like. I don't think we have anything that we can fight to destroy them with. So we're going to have to bribe them. We have no choice in the matter. We're going to pay them off. And unfortunately that leaves us with virtually no money remaining. So I need to get an income source immediately. Thankfully we could bribe them off, but this Guandi, I don't even know where he is. Where has Guandi gone? He appears to be lost. So didn't get a military in time, but hopefully these two will allow us to prevent any future invasions. So I have now 451 strings of cash remaining. Let's get cracking. Alrighty, nicely set up. 1,200 strings of cash in debt, nearly. We have ourselves a money printer here who's currently printing money for us as quickly as they can. It's interesting. We have a spy from the Jaja Empire. In that case, we are going to send a spy back at them. So I guess I can't send a spy to them. That's odd because I did have a spy reverse, but... Oh, it's because I've got no money, that's why. Because I'm negative cash. Apparently, even though we did manage to capture the spy, we can't actually send a spy back to them, which is a little bit unfortunate. Either way, foreign emissary, yes, what do you want? Helping hand, 1,500, that'll push me out of debt, that's beautiful. and that'll give us enough time to get the mulberry harvest, which is coming up in 1 month. So we're not going to get a particularly big harvest this year. I was a little bit too late. If I ever replay this in the future, I will keep that in mind. We're going to get a small mulberry harvest, which will hopefully get a little bit of silk produced. So we can sell that off to Guangzhou. Maybe. I don't think we actually produced any silk, unfortunately. Very, very unfortunate. So we're going to have to wait 1 entire year. So it's going to be our taxation and our money printer that keeps us afloat until then. Okay, Year of the Water Rabbit. Let's grab some special gifts and see. We got a tiger and lots of salt in our stores. That is kind of useful. I will probably decrease the amount of rice that we store in there now. I was using rice as a gift to some of the gods, but now that we've got some salt in there, we will let them store that up. It's probably going to get eaten away quite quickly, which is unfortunate. I would prefer they kept that for emergencies, but that's no biggie in the grand scheme of things. A little bit of salt is good. Now that's all nicely set up here. These are irrigated and allow me to throw down probably 2 more farms in there. Might be a bit squishy, but we get 2 more farms in there, and then I think I can get the rest of the mulberries over here somewhere. That'll allow us to hopefully crank out quite a bit of silk in the coming future. Now they only buy 24 per year, so I shouldn't overproduce too much, but it will make a very good, make a very good gift for the gods, keep the gods happy, because we are going to need Guandi, I think, quite a bit in the future. Okay, next mulberry leaf harvest is in June, and these guys have started. I have placed these down and been waiting to try to build up a bit of cash before I go into debt, so we spend the least amount of time in debt as possible. So I'll throw those down for 600, that's exactly enough money. Give or take 2 strings of cash, and that'll allow us to get all these nicely done up and produced. It will give us a huge stockpile of raw silk. Now, am I going to go into debt? That's the question. Almost certainly that's a yes. Let's have a look at our production here. Expenses are currently double what our income is, although it looks like our... No, we've gone up for some reason. So this is incorrect. Possibly that's only based on taxes, in which case something has bumped us up. And Money Printer has come in and saved us. It's just finished a load, and it's given us about 200 strings of cash, which I think is more than the old copper one did. So this is actually an improvement over the old one. Things are looking pretty good so far. With that, what we're going to need to do is probably use that as we begin to get more savings to expand our silk production. Our military up here is going quite nicely. I used Guandi a few times before he left to bump up their weapon storage. We should now have 2 full forts. We've got a... Click them, left click them. Nope, there we go. 8 horsemen, which is a full complement, and 16 infantry. And we're also building up a stockpile of weapons, which I will be able to export as required. Although, and the silk has come in even better. And with that, we are effectively out of the danger zone. That is a shit ton of cash that just came in from exporting silk, and that's only 5 silk. And of course now our unemployment is a little bit more under control. It was at I think 23 or 24% for quite a long time. So I was sort of pushing the edge a little bit there. What I'm going to be doing now is jumping straight onto lacquerware production. It's going to give us just the remaining cash we need to then essentially bump us up. I've got 10% here. I've got, how much there? Extra 7% to work with on top of that once I bump up to normal. And that'll allow me to get the lacquerware down and then move on to ceramics production to begin leveling these guys up further. Once we've got ceramics in, we can get our nobles on and expand our military from there. So things are working out quite nicely. We managed to survive that initial push, and unfortunately I did have to bribe those people, but we'll see how we go from here on out. Okay, I may have gone ever so slightly overboard, but I did feel that... What the hell? I don't think I've ever had that happen before. So apparently if the building is not fully staffed, let's go up here, change industry to low, put the government up to moderate. So industry now will be the one that suffers. That's interesting. I never actually realized the animals could escape. So we have kept the tiger in. Hopefully we will get things back under control. It is most amusing. Either way, we are now going to start pumping off a shit ton of lacquer for export. They'll buy up to 36, and we should have more than enough to keep the rest of our people happy. I think I'm going to give you hemp for the time being, simply because we have so much of it. I'm going to need the silk for money making. And the Liao Empire has now launched an invasion. That is a small problem. I don't know how big this actual invasion is going to be, but they are particularly powerful. So I do not have any more options other than what I've currently got in terms of military. So those two are going to have to hold us off. Now, I was in the process of expanding my, what do you call it? My ceramics industry. I need to actually produce ceramics so I can then move on to getting an established military. I need to get my nobles all set up. I can't think and talk at the same time. This seems to be an ongoing problem with me, but that's alright. We are gradually getting there. So throw those down. I'll get this area set up nicely, and then hopefully we can hold off that invasion, or at the very least bribe it off, depending on the size of it. Alrighty, here we go. The Liao Empire has launched an invasion. I'm still waiting on Guandi to come into the city. He is exalted, and he has been waiting a couple of months, but they are coming in from the south. We are incapable of bribing them. We do have ourselves a nice big wall that I've built up that will hopefully be able to hold them back. Let's see if we can fight to defend the city. And there we go, the invasion force has been defeated. We took a little bit of damage in the process, but I think we have managed to hold them off properly. So that is good news for us. We'll send the horsemen. Yeah, they're very, very badly shaken. And we've lost pretty much the entirety of our silk storage and silk production here. So I'm going to get this fired back up again. And hopefully we will be ready to get sorted and make back into profit again. Thankfully though, our lacquer industry has just taken off and we have just begun exporting that. So that will keep us going in the interim. Okay, all the houses are beginning to upgrade into ornate apartments. That will hopefully give us the workers we require. We're short by 300. That's likely to jump right down though. So we have 52 occupants in those houses, and it's additional, what's that, 12% or something, 15% additional workers, which is, I'm sure there's a way to see how many total workers you have. I could probably add that up, but I think we should have sufficient to push us over. I will require tea to go further, and another housing block may be worthwhile sometime in the future. But for the time being, we are currently well set up. If I do put another housing block in, it is going to need to be... Actually, while I'm here, let's stop manning the towers and have a look now. Things are looking a lot better now. That's given us a fair few workers back. If I do put in another housing block though, it'll have to be up here somewhere, and I will require another getting mill to take care of that. Either way, we have a I take that back. We do not have a surplus of ceramics. Looks like they've all been taken up in into the markets, but that is going to stockpile them for a long, long time, so we will build up a surplus very shortly. There's a bit coming in now. So with that, I think it's time to start throwing down a little bit of elite housing. We don't... Oh, come on. We don't need that many of them. Oh, God damn it. The immigrants as they're going through there, just push it up a little bit. There we go. We can get a couple of these in, and that'll leave us in a much better position. Okay, we've got ourselves a flood. That's not good. That is very much not good, because Actually, we haven't taken too much damage. I've lost a few things up here probably, but the rest of it seems to be holding on quite well. I don't think we've lost too much from that flood, which is surprisingly lucky, I think. But either way, we're going to continue moving along like this, and we'll see if we can get everything set up and recovered. So our nobles are beginning to move in quite nicely here, and they're going to require herbalists. I'm just setting all that stuff up now. Alright, I've rejigged things a little bit here. We now have a fourth food type. I've thrown an additional farm up here just because things were not quite as well balanced as I would like. I sort of got a bit of a mishmash of different farm sizes here. But hopefully that will keep all our food types going along quite nicely. We did have a bit of an issue where we ran out briefly, but these guys now are leveling back up again, and I'm actually not going to have a Happy New Year simply because it's going to eat all our food, and we're currently just reaching a comfortable level again. Either way, these guys here are prepared to start leveling up. Now that we've got the tasty food coming in, there we go, leveling up right now. They're going to require drama access, which I appear to have forgotten to put in. So I'm going to have to throw in, bulldoze one of these and throw in a drama school. I don't like your chances at the moment, mate, of... Yep, I'm going to take you out and put the drama school right here. So let's go drama. Nope, let's take that back. Need a theatre pavilion, and the drama school can actually go up here. Now what I'll do is I'll turn this off as an entertainment area, and they should all head down into the theatre pavilion. I may have been better suited by putting it up here close to the entrance, but we'll see how we go anyway. Okay, the tea is just arriving now. We've got a little warehouse down here that's getting everything, and that'll provide it for these people down here, as well as sort of an intermediate storage warehouse where they drop off from the farms directly to minimise the travel for these guys. And that'll allow us to start leveling up. We need tea shops to be placed down, so I can do that right now, because we are running a little bit tight on total population. And tea shop there. So that'll allow us to level these guys up to the top level, I believe, which is, I think they're called luxury apartments. Where's that fire? Oops, I forgot about that. That's not good, because this is very, very close. So it's all our tea gone. That was very stupid of me. I had forgotten to have this area sorted. Let me think about this. This shouldn't be too difficult. If I throw an inspector's tower there, I can select it. I can wall you off there, wall you off there. By unlocking this area here, I can actually allow inspectors to go through. And hopefully they put that fire out in time. I don't think so. So we're going to lose that building, which means we are going to lose quite a lot of stuff. But if I put that there, can I block you off? There we go. So you should now go up and service that one there. If I remove that roadblock as well. So I think that will take care of everything. Hopefully we don't lose all our ceramics. That would be disastrous. Okay, we're back and all set up again. The tea will eventually start flowing back in once we have our next harvest, which will be happening shortly. The question is how much tea. I only made 24 sachets of tea in 1 year, so hopefully this year has a full production cycle and makes up to 30. If not, I'm going to need to throw down another farm. I may even need to rejig these so I go 1, 2, do it too wide rather than through the center with all this wasted space. But we'll see how we go. There's more than enough space to throw down additional farms if required. I have got this little housing block up here, and they are gradually leveling up. The problem is that they're not really beautiful enough because I didn't put down... there we go, that's a bit better. They're not really quite so beautiful because I didn't have a chance to put down the road, so I may need to bulldoze these and throw down the Grand Way if it's not going to work. They require access to music. That can be done fairly easily. Alrighty, I've just caught 2 spies just moving across here, and a third one up here, and another 4th one that I missed. Didn't right click in time. So there are, my place is riddled with spies at the moment. So I need to keep an eye out for them. They can often be seen travelling cross country as guys that just aren't going to be, or aren't meant to be travelling cross country. So that's something I could probably keep an eye out for. So it'll be like one of these inspectors, for example, travelling all up here. So if that guy moved down there or something like that, I'm not sure. I can't see any spies at the moment. I seem to have caught them all, but they will come back in a later date, so I do need to keep an eye out for them if at all possible. Yeah, can't see any spies just yet. They're probably doing a lot of damage to my economy, so I do need to try and stop this somehow. I'm going to need probably a couple more watchtowers. If I have got unemployment. That's excellent. Excellent. Things are looking much better now. So I could probably throw down a watchtower there, and hopefully that will catch some of the spies that are up here, damaging my salt industry. But let's see how much salt we produced in 1 year. We've got more than enough tea. Salt only produced for about half a year. So we're going to have that sorted well and truly. Which means now we need to start conquering cities. Now we've got a massive military over here. They're nearly completely filled up. So what I'm going to do is bring Sun Tzu into the city. We're going to bring him in with a whole bunch of ceramics. And of course we've got silk available if required as well. And there we go, Sun Tzu has arrived. Our Confucian hero is in the city. And with that, we're going to start doing some conquering. I'm going to think that these two are both looking quite weak. So they're the ones we're going to target. You will buy weapons from me. You will buy silk and ceramics. I think I could actually use you more, although my money at this point is insane and through the roof, but you're the one we're going to conquer. Now I'm going to send out the majority of my forces, but not all of them. And one set of archers. I'm going to keep 2 sets of archers behind. Actually, better still, I'm going to send off 1 set of archers and I'm going to keep an infantry unit behind. You're going to give me... Steel is probably going to be the most useful one here, so I will take steel from you as a type of tribute if I can find it. No, I can't. Why can I not see? Oh, there it is, right in front of me. So we're going to take steel as a tribute from you, and that'll allow us to make more weapons if required. We're going to send off Sun Tzu as well, and that'll be more than sufficient to conquer them. I'm actually going to keep another cavalry unit behind because I don't want these guys to come and invade us, and they are looking relatively strong at the moment. So we're going to dispatch off that army there, and hopefully we can get there and back before anyone decides to invade us. And we've conquered Pingyang. Pingyao. That's brilliant. So with them, we can now start trading with Pingyao, and we're going to import additional bits of steel as well as continuing to fire up our weaponsmithing industry. Unfortunately, not harmoniously placed, but at this point, who gives a shit? So Pingyao is now ours. They're not very happy, so we can send off a very large gift of cash just to get them on side because we are so fabulously wealthy at this point. I have all of these heavenly compounds down here paying me some beautiful, beautiful taxes. We're taking in nearly 27,000 per year just in tax income. So things are looking pretty good at this point. I do believe that paper is quite an effective taxation. And of course we've got the money printer helping as well, so cash really is just pouring in. Now, unemployment is still acceptable, and you guys, I don't want you to level up any more, which is good, because I need an acrobat to go any further, so I have got them nicely controlled. Victorious warriors have returned, which is very, very nice. Pingyao, again, thanks us for the cash. We'll have one of those, and New Year has just ticked over February, which means we've now produced 48 salt in 1 year, so we have met that goal. All we require now is a final city, and thank you, I'll take those 3 bars of steel. We're also importing the steel as well, so that'll allow us to really crank up our military. I don't think we lost too much there. I can see a fairly strong looking military here, so we're going to give Sun Tzu another set of whatever that stuff is called, silk, and we're going to send him off and take down Kaifeng, and that'll allow us, that's our old capital I believe was Kaifeng, so we can retake it now finally from the Liao Empire, and the Jaja are being a bit of a threat as well, but currently we do not need to take them out. So we're going to take down, I suppose we'll send off all the same people. I'll leave that, no, I do want that cavalry. We're going to take you, we're going to leave 1 infantry, 1 cavalry, and 1 archer, and send off Sun Tzu as well. Now you produce ceramic, silk. I will probably take, I still think I want more silk from you. Oh, no, sorry, more steel from you. Even though it's something that you need, you'll figure out a way to get it, I'm sure. So we'll send that off, normal tribute severity, and we'll conquer them. And with that, we've basically won. So we're not even going to get a notification pop up when it happens. So as soon as I take that city, it's going to check for victory conditions, and then we'll win before it gives me a pop-up. So at this point, it's just fast-forwarding onwards to victory. So as our soldiers march off the map, let's have one last look at this beautiful city before we head onwards. So we've got all our beautiful farms scattered around. It's a little bit all over the place. I haven't put them as tightly packed as I would have liked, but things are quite nice. I think it's quite organic looking over here, and our city is looking beautiful. I really like this idea of a river, a little creek through the center of the housing block. I may end up doing that more if the opportunity presents itself in the future. It really does look absolutely stunning, and it realistically doesn't affect things too much. I lost 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 houses total from the block, so that was a very intact block. This one over here a little bit more cramped, but again, didn't lose too much having it in. And of course our military, everything else nicely set up. Our massive noble quarters down here looking spectacular. We must have, for some reason they're not maxed out, but 25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 sets of nobles at 25 is a lot, like over 300. Either way, let's head onwards to victory very, very shortly.
Excellent! You have driven back the Khitan, allowing us to reoccupy Kaifeng. A good city planner will be needed there now, as it is time to rebuild the true capital.
Well, there you go, guys. We've beaten back what do they call the Khitan. We've retaken Kaifeng, and Chengdu is an absolute powerhouse. Sounds like we're going to be heading back to Kaifeng again, which was one of our previous capitals we built. It looks like I need to have another mission there. That may well be the next episode. Anyway, guys, I've been Blxz. This has been Emperor. Smash that thumbs up button if you do indeed enjoy the content. Subscribe if you've not done so already. And if there's anything you want to say, drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the episode, whether it's to your taste or not. Anyway, guys, take care, and I'll see you around.